Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have been working on this for a little bit. I wanted to do a comparison between Prismacolor Premier as it stands today, not how it used to be, and Derwent Colorsoft. I don't have the box for my Derwent Colorsoft, the tin that it came in. It's a shame because it's really nice. Let's see if I can. I think I downloaded a picture of it because I was just like, where is it? Okay. This is what the different sets look like for the Derwent Colorsoft. These are all the sets that it comes in. I wish I'd kept my tin, but I did not. But those are all the different sets that the tins come in from, you know, just a little 4-1 to the full size, which is 72. So I figured that was unfortunately the best that I could do with that. I wanted to highlight and compare the two pencils brands, and on their face they seem quite similar, but they do have some definite differences, and for you to, you know, take in when you're considering which pencil set is right for you. Now, I know a lot of people go for the Prismacolor. That, you know, and I understand to a certain degree why. But I want to explain a little bit about how each of them works and maybe give you a little information about them. Stay tuned to the end though, because I do have a little interesting fact regarding light fastness that I found out, and I had no idea this was even a thing. So just wait to the end and you'll see what I mean. So let's get to it. Now I have the Prisma set first, and this is the box that it comes in, and I have large, as you can see, I actually took a pencil out. I was running low on it, and I'll show it's in my box case. I'll show it to you, but I was running low on that color, so I scavenged it from this box. But these are the trays that they come in, and you know, while it's nice and slim and all, having to carry out, pull out all these different little trays and trying to store something that, while it's not very deep, is very long, and it was a royal pain to find a good spot for it. So the case that I actively use, I have in a pencil case. But I mean, these are all the different colors that they come in, and that's one of the good things about Prismas is, even though their quality is not what it used to be, they come in a pretty wide selection of colors, which is one of the pros, is that they have a wide range of colors. I mean, like this is just all grays and whites and a few beiges. It's pretty excellent. They have an amazing set of blues. I'll put this back in. And you can see all the nice greens and red browns. That's one of the nice things, is still a pro, as it were, for these. The price is reasonable for the amount of pencils that you get. They range from $90 at its lowest. I think I paid $85 once for a set, but I got it like on a flash sale type thing, to $200 at Michael's, which is like an American craft store. Never pay $200. If you're paying $200, you're overpaying. Now, if you don't have Amazon Prime, which I highly recommend, maybe your country doesn't have it, you can expect to pay around the low 100s for these. Now, some places it might be a bit higher if, you know, like, I know Australia's having issues with craft supplies like this. So I can't speak to, you know, places like that, but that's what they are on average. You know, and the other thing is, each one of these pencils, I love this color, by the way. Oops. They do come in open stock on Blick, I think on Amazon, but you might pay more on Amazon. So either Blick or Cheap Joe's or Jerry's Artorama. I know there's a place over in either the UK or Australia. I can't think of the name now, but there is a place that sells in that fashion, sells art supplies in that fashion. And they probably have these in open stock as well. They're very buttery soft. That's part of their advantage, is also part of their problem. They're very buttery and very soft, and unfortunately they're not glued the way they used to be, so they don't really last like they used to. But make sure you guys can see. I'll zoom in a little and I'll let you see a little. And I have it pre-sharp this way, and they come pre-sharpened like this. This is how they come. So I'm gonna take my Boss Stitch hand sharpener, which I highly recommend. The Dolly 133 is great, it sharpens good, but it comes with the flimsiest table clamp. This Boss Stitch, it screws right into my desk. It's fantastic for soft pencils like Prisma and Holbein. This is the sharpener. It's absolutely, I think it beats the Dolly 133 by a mile. Amazon, I got it for like maybe 20 or less on Amazon, and it's a recent purchase. I love it. But as you can see, this is drawing paper, Strathmore drawing paper, which I highly recommend, by the way. You can see how nicely it lays down. And if I wanted to burnish it out a little bit, the color I'm using is 122. Let's see, I can read the name. Permanent Red. I have vision issues, so I hope you guys will bear with me. That's kind of a sample of one of the colors. Now, I could blend this out a little bit, and I'm just grabbing a Q-tip. I have other things, but it's handy. Isn't that beautiful? You know, I don't hate Prismas. They really do have their advantages, and this is one of them. You see how buttery and soft that blended? That is definitely one of their advantages. They have an 8 STM rating of 1 to 3, which is how the United States test for light fast. And you remember I was saying something earlier about a cool little light fastness thing that I found out? Keep watching to the end. I'll tell you about something that I found regarding light fast testing that I found absolutely fascinating. They have a 4.8 average rating of, you know, for like customer satisfaction. I think that's a little high, frankly. I would, if it were me, I would give them maybe I would give them a 4. Honestly, there are other pencils I would rate higher. I would give these about a 4, maybe a 3.8. I would not give them a near 5. I wouldn't. And you know, I'll go into the cons of the. Well, I'll explain that when I get into the cons of Prismacolor. But for now, the average box weight for a full set like this, and they call them crayons too, in French, which is really funny because they're made in Mexico. They've been made in Mexico for the last 10 years. And that's another reason why the quality isn't what it used to be. The box weighs about 3 pounds, which is fairly, you know, it's pretty hefty. But it's also got 150 pencils in it. So let me back up a little bit. See, it's got 150 pencils in it. So that's a lot. And like I said, the average price is about 120, give or take, you know, depending on your country. Over the last 10 years, and this is getting into the cons, they started making them in Mexico. Now I'm gonna put this away for a second. Hold on one second. I'm grabbing my, the case that I keep my Prismas in. Let me move this. I have some older Prismas. I think I have them in here. And I highly recommend, by the way, a case like this, where there's one slot, one pencil. Okay? Because I had these in a case where you could fit 2 or 3 to a slot, and they were being pushed forward like this. And so when I would go to close the case and zip it, they would snap because they're very fragile. Let's see if I can find one of my old ones. This might be, because the old ones, you'll know when you see an older pencil, like an older Prisma, you'll know because they look completely different. I'm looking through my Prismas here to see if I have an older one. And they're labeled different too. Not only that, but they look different. Like the core is a little thicker. It's really kind of amazing. Yeah, here's an older, I think this is an older Prisma. And let's see if this is one of the new ones. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera, but I'm going to try to show you. This right here, oops, sorry. This is an older silver, okay? There we go. This is an older Prisma, okay? And this is one of the newer ones. Whoops, sorry. There we go. So, now, this is basically the difference. Can you see that? I hope you can. Do you see how much thicker this one is? It's just a little bit thicker than wider around than this one. This one's right here is a little bit thicker. This one. And I mean, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but it's really, to me, quite obvious. The pencils got thinner. There's been gluage issues, more breakage issues. I have Prismas that unless I sharpen them in that boss stitch or hand sharpen them in one of these type sharpeners, which this, by the way, is amazing. Okay, German made steel. Kohinoor, Kohinor. This is that sharpener. Okay, that's the brand, the company that makes this. Fantastic sharpener. Really, it's a fantastic sharpener. But unless you put them in a pencil like this, you're gonna have breakage issues. So I got this on Amazon. It was like maybe 20 bucks and some change. Absolutely worth it. It holds my entire set, and I've got a little bit left over. And that has stuff on the end for, you know, markers or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, this is what they look like when they're in a case. And I do them with the pencil side facing out, because when you go to close it, if you put the leads in and you go to close it, bam, they're gonna break. So point them out and just make sure that they're below the seam when you go to zip, and you'll have a lot less breakage from when they're stored. Hold on a second, guys. I've got the landscaping people coming. I gotta mute you. Sorry. I'm back. Sorry about that. The guys with the blowers were coming around, and anyway. All right. So this is a swatching that I did of the Prismacolors. I thought I would show you. Let's see, let's go ahead a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's kind of basically how the majority of them look. Some of this might be off camera, and I apologize. My desk is kind of small, so I'm kind of making it work, as it were. Yeah, that's what they look like. Hopefully you can see all of them. I hope. Oh, these are notes that I take. Excuse the handwriting. Those are just like notes I take sometimes on how different things have been done. But yeah, this is also one of the pictures that I have did. And excuse the shiny thing. It's my desk lights are just reflecting off of my laminate. But as you can tell, I did this around the spring, and I think it came out, it was all 100% Prismas, with the exception of a Posca pen right around here. But this was all Prismas. I think it came out pretty good. These are some of my favorite combinations. I think of all of them, my favorite would probably, it's probably this one down here. If you can see it, I hope you can. Let's see. Yeah, it's this one. It is, put my glasses on. 114, 138, 195, and 994. That's that beautiful pink combination. I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous. So that's that for the Prismas. Let's see. They have one of the issues why they are more prone to breakage is because they put more wax in them. And while that makes them extra buttery, it also increases the likelihood of them breaking more. And you're gonna, as a result, you're gonna get more wax blooms, an increased like crumbliness, which you have to kind of gently whisk away. Preferably not like I'm doing here, but like with a, you know, like a paintbrush or something of that sort, hair makeup brush. because otherwise you can grind that into the paper. Yeah, you got a problem. Like I said, their quality since going to Mexico, they've just been cutting all kinds of corners. And oh, excuse me, you don't want to look at that. It really isn't. They aren't what they used to be. Sharpening them, you really have to use, like I said, this, which is from Colorsoft, and or a Boss Stitch or a Dolly 133. Any of those, do not, I repeat, do not use a sharpener like this. Okay, this is from AFMET, and it is a great sharpener, but it does not, the soft, super soft pencils do not take well to that. It will chew them up. So I highly recommend a, sharpener like that. This handheld sharpener was about, this one right here was about $10 on Amazon. I think the Dolly 133 was 20 something. It's also very good. It has an enclosed shavings tray, which my Boss does as well. But yeah, they really are poorly glued. They're just not what they used to be. But having said all that, they, and the boxes, the trays as I showed you earlier is pretty flimsy. That's why I like Derwent, because the trays that the tins, they send them in actual metal tins. At least the full set anyway. I can't speak to the smaller sets. I've only gotten the one full set. But they don't, and their trays aren't super flimsy either. Now, onto the Colorsofts, and see, as you can tell, I'm highly organized here. Let's back up just a little. I have all of my pencils kind of, and I've been having issues with that. There we go. That's my Pro Color. All right, there we go. Now, I had to number these because they weren't numbered, and I can kind of see why. I mean, they go by tens, which is, pretty nice. They have the full set is 72, and as I showed you earlier, they come at a pretty nice, for being, a somewhat small set of, oh, hold on a second. Forgot my music. I like my music. Anyway, for being a small set, they come in a fairly nice, well-rounded selection of colors. The only thing I would mention, not enough reds. But that's to the cons. I'm going to start with the pros. And the pros are they're highly pigmented and vibrant, which they totally are. Hold on a second. I'll pull out I'm going to pick a Pro Color. One of my favorite colors, I might add. I believe. Yeah. Right here. Where is it? There you are. Deep Fuchsia. That's this color right here. Let's see. Scooch it so you guys can see. Oops, wrong way. Sorry. Didn't mean to make you dizzy. This is the color gonna swatch. If I can get it on camera, there we go. And you see the they do crumble a little bit, and they are they're not as soft as Prismas, but they're still pretty soft. So, like with the Prismas, I highly recommend you rotate your pencil in your hand frequently. Or see how I don't know if you can see, but I got a little wax bloom right there. And this is, again, this is Strathmore drawing paper. I love this drawing paper. It's great. But you see how vibrant that is? It's just incredible. And honestly, I don't think Cube does it justice. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I mean, I could do, this is a Carandash blender, and while it's not my favorite, I can, because I have arthritic hands, so I can only use this sort of thing on small areas, because otherwise my hands just go bananas, because you do have to push, kind of. But, I mean, that fuchsia, isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Whoops, where is it there? Sorry. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Isn't that fuchsia absolutely gorgeous? And so on the fuchsia on this side is the Derwent Colorsoft, and this red is this orangish red is permanent red from Prisma. Sorry for being out of frame, guys. Again, these are the swatches that I did for it. I was able to fit it all into one page, so this is a page I have been working on that is 100% Derwent with the exception Colorsoft, with the exception of the breast on the bird. I was messing up really bad on the breast of the bird, and so I had to pull out my paint pens and kind of, you know, fix it up. But yeah, this is all basically, and isn't it beautiful? I mean, look at these vibrant colors. I believe I used this Summers in here, but aren't these colors absolutely vibrant? I mean, they're just gorgeous. I absolutely love, and I did a speed through of the house, by the way. Oops, sorry. Having trouble getting on camera for some reason. Hold on, I'm sorry, guys. There we go. I did a speed through of the birdhouse. I absolutely love how it came out. And that bird at the top, the purple one, oops, sorry, is my favorite. So that is something I'm working on. So let's put my book aside. Now, the pros of the Colorsofts are basically, as I said, they're highly pigmented and very vibrant. These are, whoops, these are the Pro Colors, sorry. I have my Pro Colors and my Chroma Flow and my Colorsofts all in one case, which is really convenient, I might add. But besides being just as pigmented and vibrant, their cores are like 4 millimeters versus the 3.3, I think, that is the Prismacolor. And the cores are a little bit, just a teeny bit firmer, but still really buttery and soft. Like, I think color flows are kind of what Prismas wish they could be. they're they're very blendable. As you can tell from this picture, you see in the bird, you see how blendable. And then I came in with a blender pencil, and I think maybe a little Gamsol here and there. But you see how blendable they are. So, you know, when it comes to, you know, blendability, they really are totally equal to Prismacolor in that regard. And like I said, this part here and here is the Pro Color, but this is the rest of the brown wooded ones are the Colorsoft. And that's another nice thing with these, is that this wood is really sturdy, so that the casings don't fall out so much as they do with the Prismacolor. They do occasionally, but it's much less often than with the Prismacolor. And because it's a bigger core, you can cover more area. And it's nice to be able to tell they can be a little heavy after a while. Here, I'll show you what I mean. And this is why. That is the size difference. You see how different they are? I mean, it's a pretty significant difference. I'll turn around this way. Now, these are capped, which I like. Some people don't. I do. It makes it look finished. And for the budget pencils, it also disguises the fact that they may be off center. But that's kind of what that looks like in comparison. They are just really, really nice pencils. They are also available in open stock, like on Blick and any of the other, excuse me, any of the other, you know, art supply stores, excuse me. They do have open stock, which is great. So like for example, I'm running low on this. Is my favorite grain, guys. And it's called Lincoln Grain. This is my favorite grain. I love it. It's just, I had to show you guys. I absolutely, that's why it's so tiny. It's getting tiny, if you could tell, is because it's one of my favorite. If you're doing branches or warm colored leaves, oh, look at that. Isn't that amazing? And if you I'm trying to clean up my, always make sure you clean your blender pencil off. I mean, look at that. Vibrancy. You can go back over it a little, but not too much. Isn't that amazing? I love that car. It looks like an olive. Like, to me, that's what green olives look like. They have an excellent light. Like, most of them have an excellent light fastness rating. There are a few that, you know, are so-so, but most are reasonably light fast. In particular, according to the blue wool test, which I'll tell you more about in a minute, the grays, the oranges, and the browns had the highest light fastness rating. I don't know why, but I just know that's what I read. And they have a fairly high customer satisfaction rating also. Around 4.5 out of 5, which I would give it, that sounds about right. I would give it about a 4.6, 4.7. And the only reason I don't give it an absolute 5 is because they are hard to do detail. Now these Pro Colors right here, you see, they are much better for detail because they're a little bit harder. But the Colorsofts, like the Prismas, it's a little bit hard to do detail work because they are really, really soft. So you want a harder pencil like the Pro Color or the Faber-Castell, Sharpener Farben. If you want sharp detail, that's probably a better pencil. But if you want just like a smooth, beautiful gradient, this is an excellent, excellent, excellent pencil. I paid, the average cost is around $100 to maybe 120. Overseas, it's probably more. But for here in the States, the average is 95 to 120, which is really, it's a little high for 72, but you have to think though that you're getting more pencil because, as I showed you, this is a 4mm barrel versus a 3.5 or 3.3. I mean, so you're getting more pencil for your money, and it's just as long. They're the same length, but you're getting a whole lot more pencil, and the core is so much more stable. I have so many less issues with these. They can break, because they are a very soft pencil. So you do have to store them again in a one slot, one pencil case. I highly recommend it. This case I got on Amazon. It's really nice because it has a little handle. It's great. I think I paid between $20 and $25 for it, which is fantastic because it's so beautiful and it keeps my pencils really nicely. You know, and supposedly they're also acid free. I don't know. I've never tried that. But I think they're a little bit more durable, and like I showed you earlier, the picture, the tins that they come in. I mean, these actual metal tins, and not these flimsy cardboard with this flimsy plastic trays. You know, the full set of the Prismas come in. I mean, they don't cut corners like Prisma does now. Which is a sad shame. I mean, now the cons being that while they're not as delicate as the Prismas, they still work best in a hand sharpener or a hand crank sharpener. I've put mine in my electric sharpener once or twice, and I have to be careful. They tend to break more. They are still relatively delicate. So also, like with the Prismas, you also might want to consider a light hand. Coloring with a light hand is not as important with the Derwent Colorsofts, but it's still important. Because they still are, you know, fairly delicate. I mean, here. Wrong way. That's kind of what, let's see if I can get you a close up. There we go. That's kind of what the label looks like. I would pick, if a massive amount of pencils confuses you, and you just want a smaller palette, smaller but well-rounded, then I think these really are the pencils for you. They are, like I said, a little more pricey. You know, to me it's worth it. I get the Prismas because so many people use them, that I kind of have to, especially if I'm going to have a YouTube channel. I kind of have to. But if I'm coloring just for me, Prisms aren't my go-to. They're not. These are my go-to pencils for if I want a soft, mushy pencil. I do have some Holbeins, but I don't have the full set yet. I'm kind of getting them piecemeal, and when I get the whole set, then I'll probably do a page on them. I've got about half, right? I think right now. I'm getting there. But yeah, I would just, you know, hand sharpen these. Now, the thing that I wanted to, back to the thing that I wanted to, oh, wait a minute, hold on, I want to show you something first. Before I get into this blue wool thing, I want to show you the swatches that I did on different types of paper. So this, let me make sure you guys can see. Oh, things getting in my way. All right, let's scooch in just a little bit. There we go. All right, I did this on Canson 98-pound mixed media, and the right, well, it's my right, but it might be your left. I have it labeled. So this side is the Prismacolor, and this side is the Derwent. And I tried to match them up as close as I could. It wasn't easy though. So, but this was, and I used the same colors on all the pencils. So this is 919 in the Prisma. Oop, there we go. Make sure you guys can see. And then on the Derwent, I chose 340. And then on the Prisma side for yellow, I picked PC 916. And then for the Derwent, I picked 30. For my brown, I chose 947. And for my Derwent Colorsoft, I picked 640. Then for like a bright pink, I picked 995 in the Prismacolor and 140 in the Derwent Colorsoft, which I believe is the fuchsia color. I believe that was this color. You see how freaking bright that is? And you know, the thing is, the Prismacolors are pretty vibrant too. They, as far as I'm concerned, they are also very vibrant. However, sturdiness, I think the Colorsofts are just a little sturdier, and I get a little more pencil for my money. But back to this, 1002 for my orange in the Prisma, and 70 for the Colorsoft. And for the green, I picked 909 in the Prisma and 420 in the Colorsoft. Now for like a reddish type color, I picked 937 and 160. So I'm going to go up here so you guys can see. Hopefully. Ta-da! Yeah, hopefully you guys can see. So that's the Canson Media Mix. Now next, I did just your average copy paper. Oops. Sorry, too far away. This is just your average copy paper. And it's the same colors. Oops, so sorry, I don't know what that was all about. That was weird. My camcorder just did a weird thing. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what that was all about, but either way, that's what it looks like when you do the Prisma and the Colorsoft on copy paper. So, not too bad, but you know, not awesome. This is cardstock. 110-pound cardstock that I got at Walmart. For, I don't know, $10. Oops, wrong way. I always go the opposite way. I don't know why I do that, but it's hard. You have to reverse it in your brain. Yeah, this is what they look like on cardstock. I think the cardstock, I got excellent results for the cardstock. So, last but not least, I also used 60-pound sketch paper from Blick. This paper is so good, you guys. I love this paper. I know this is kind of a side note, but I love this paper, you guys. It's really, really, it's not super heavy, so it can't take a lot of wet media. If you do use wet media, be very, very sparse with it. But in terms of just strictly coloring and blending and stuff like that, this paper is close to being on par with Strathmore. I mean, not quite, but that's what they look like on the Blick 60-pound. It's pretty nice. I think that and the cardstock are probably my favorites. So that's what they look like on that. So I wanted to show you that before I forgot. And then I'm going to move on. Okay. The thing that I wanted to explain to you, last but not least, is the thing that I had referred to earlier as the blue wool scale. Now, I'm going to read this because I printed this out so that I didn't muck it up. Oh, words are hard. Okay, so according to this by step-by-step art .co.uk, it says the blue wool scale measures and calibrates the permanence of coloring dyes. Traditionally, this test was developed for the textiles industry, which makes sense, but it has now been adopted by the printing industry as a measure of light fastness of ink colorants. Normally, two identical dye samples are created. One is placed in the dark as the control, and the other is placed in the equivalent of sunlight for a 3-month period. A standard blue wool textile fading test card is also placed in the same light conditions as the sample under the test. The amount of fading of the sample is then assessed by comparison to the original color. A rating between 0 and 8 is awarded by identifying which one of the 8 strips on the blue wool standard card has faded to the same extent as the sample under test. 0 denotes extremely poor color fastness, while a rating of 8 is deemed to have not altered from the original and thus being credited as being light, fast, and permanent. Now, the ASTM goes from 1 to 5, and the lower the number, the more the light fast. So it's kind of the opposite for the United States. I just thought I would throw that out there for kicks and giggles because I had no idea. I thought it was cool. I was like, well, this is interesting. You know, I had no idea that was even a thing. But, you know, now I'm going to tell you which I prefer of the Prismas and the Derwents. I strongly prefer the the Derwents generally, for the reasons being is that they have, to me, they have a better quality in terms of their manufacture. I feel like Derwent cuts doesn't cut corners the same way that Prismas do now. And Prismas have changed hands so many times over the last decades. From barrel, I forget, there was another one that began with the S. From to them, you know, so they changed hands multiple times. And they used to be made in the United States, and now they're made in Mexico, and they're cutting all kinds of corners, and it shows. And while there's still a pencil I would recommend, I just think the quality of the Derwents is definitely far better. And while their overall set is smaller, it's fairly well rounded. They're a little short in the reds maybe, but you know, aside from that, it's not too bad. But that's kind of why I prefer them. They're both smushy and blendable and vibrant, pigmented. Prisma has more colors, but Derwent has the better quality by a mile. So, you know, and they're a little pricier, but not like exceedingly so, but you know, the Prismas are a little bit cheaper. So you get more for your money too. So it's up to you as to whether, you know, you have the money to maybe pay a little more for a little less, but you know, get a better quality, or whether you're just going for quantity over really good quality. You know, that's my personal opinion. I still like the Prismas. They are not a go-to pencil for me. I do use them, but if I had to choose, I would choose the Derwent Colorsoft. I would place them in a higher rating than the Prismas, and for reasons which I have just listed. So that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful and enlightening. Stay safe and color on.